Na swali la Senator Miraji kuhusu ile hazina ya fedha. Tayari tumepanga mikakati ya kuwa na hazina ya fedha ambayo itaondoa changamoto nyingi, lakini hivi sasa lazima hiyo hazina ya fedha iwe imeorodheshwa kwenye sheria. Kwa hivyo tuko na bill ya labor migration bill ambayo inaendelea tayari niliweka sahihi juzi ndio iweze kuletwa kwa bunge, iweze kuchangia ndio hiyo iwe katika hali ya sheria. Kwa hivyo tunatarajia kwamba itakuja mpaka hapa na itaweza kusonga nayo. The second question from Honorable Senator Mungatana. It's a brilliant question. Thank you very much. Because, sorry, uliongea na Kiswahili. Kwa sababu Nairobi sio Kenya. Na Mombasa sio Kenya. Na miji mikuu sio Kenya. Lazima tuwe na mikakati ya kuweza kuwafikia watu. Nilikuwa nimeanza safari ya kwenda katika kila county. Kuanzia katika kila county kuongelesha ndugu dada zetu, lakini tukakuwa na upungufu wa hali ya fedha. Unajua kuna upungufu wa zile budget yetu ilikatwa kuweza safari hizo, na pia niliona kulikuwa na changamoto kidogo wa zile safari nilizoenda. Nikaona kuna agencies na mikakati ambayo kweli ilikuwa lazima kwanza nilainishe ndio tusiende tujichimbie shimo. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni mambo ambayo naendelea kumaliza na hivi karibuni nitarejea. Nitaka kufanya kazi sana na waheshimiwa wa Senate na pia wa National Assembly ndio tuweze kushirikiana. Wakati naja mahali na waeleza, mnapanga watu wenyu, pengine hata mnawasaidia na nauli kidogo, tunaenda mahali ambapo ni karibu. Nikienda county fulani moja, nisiende tu mahali pamoja, niende recruitment mahali pawili ama patatu hivi. Na kuna mpango ambao naangalia ambapo nitaweza kuwauliza nyinyi wenyewe mkiwa kule kijijini muweze kuwatambua wale ambao wamehitimu, ndio tuanzie hapo. Isikuwe ni kazi ya sisi kutoka kuja hapo. Nyinyi waheshimiwa ambao mmepigiwa kura na wananchi mnawakilisha muweze kusaidia. Senator Wakoli, you talked about the team in Bungoma. I'm not conversant on that process. What I know is that before people go overseas, they have to undertake medical care. They have to undergo medical tests. And the tests can be quite expensive. It means x-rays for your chest, looking for TB, blood infections and such. And so I believe that the move for people to register for SHA is so that when they go for medicals, part of that medical fee is covered already by their registration. But I'll follow up to find out on that aspect of why it is happening that way. Senator Kio, I'd like to just clarify that I never said that Kenyans are big-headed activists. I was reporting what they told me, and I was just saying that we need to, the spirit of Kenyans that makes us great. We are people who are very well educated, very liberal, very democratic. We know our rights and we fight for our rights. And that's a very good spirit, and that's what makes us a very great nation. And so we need to bridge between our rights and our information and our ability to speak our voices with how to do it. The issue is not what to do, but it's how you're doing it. When you go to a foreign country that may not have the democratic rights like we do in our country, you need to understand how to navigate the aspects of those countries. Even countries with democratic rights, everybody frowns upon a foreigner coming to shout in their country. If we had foreigners in our country, employed here, starting to demonstrate in the streets of Nairobi, you'll see Kenyans saying, warudi kwao. Kwani hao ni nani wanakuja kutupigia kelele hapa kwetu? So it's a matter of just teaching Kenyans how to seek redress without appearing to be a thorn in the flesh in these countries, because when you travel to another country, you are a visitor. The overlying principle is, if you are dissatisfied with where you are, and you no longer want to be there, you are allowed to leave. Nobody will stop you from leaving that country and coming back home. Come back to your country. But if you wish to stay there, then you may have to adhere. I've lived overseas. I lived in Australia, I lived in the US, I lived in Dubai and worked in Dubai. There are principles that you have to adhere in Dubai. If they tell you you don't go shaking hands or hugging women, you don't do it, because that's their principles. If you feel like your rights for hugging is being embedded upon, come back home. Come and hug the ones in Kenya. Don't cross the border, because there are religious factors and other factors in different countries. Majority Leader, And that is why, sorry, we are doing civic education so that we teach our young people how to adapt to these cultures. And cultural knowledge is very important. Even in countries in Japan, you go there, there's some ways you can cross your legs and insult a whole village. So we are teaching them how to really behave in some countries. Majority Leader, you asked about the system. What we did is that instead, just before I go to the ministry, a decision was made that instead of a new system, we are upgrading the National Employment Integration System under NEA with a grant of 400 million shillings from ILO. And when this is upgraded, it will have all this information that is there. Currently, as we speak, the NEA website has all the information about the valid recruitment agencies. So mtu akisema anataka kupeleka ngambo, you just go and check, are they valid? Is this person in that agency and their name? And are they following the laws and the principles? And most of the people who are taking overseas have Form 4 university degrees. They can do due diligence, and we are encouraging them to do so. Thank you also, Senator Nyotu, for your question about the issue about Saudi. It is very good to clarify here that in Saudi Arabia, we've got Kenyans who are doctors, Kenyans who are nurses, Kenyans who are teachers, Kenyans who are drivers, Kenyans who are ICT experts, Kenyans in the hospitality industry, Kenyans who are working in a variety of jobs, including in the government of Saudi Arabia. The issue we've had, you hear of Saudi Arabia, are issues of people working in homes. So we cannot say that it is Kenyans working there. It's a segment where we've had this small issue of people working in homes. So that is why we have had the new BLA, the working of the BLA. The Saudi Arabians have appointed somebody to deal with those issues, to respond to some of those challenges in homes, so that people are well protected. The issue of Europe and Canada and jobs is the fact that jobs are, people are taken to jobs according to available positions, the demands that are given. The difference is this: if you're going to work in Saudi Arabia, you're going to work in Qatar, you're going to work in these countries, the amount of money you need to pay your agency here is little, because a lot of the monies are given over there for your ticket and others. Even though they're not given in the UAE, it's low cost, it's just here. If you're going to go to Australia, for example, to work, the average money that you need to come up front with, even for the visa and everything, you're paying about 700 to 1 million shillings. So the jobs are there. But the amount of money you need to go to Germany, Poland, 700,000 shillings. That's why you see a lot of Kenyans who can afford are going to countries, but the positions are there and they're open to all Kenyans. They're not set for any community at all. Senator Osotsi, good senator from Vihiga, you gave an explanation of a person who has passed away. I'm not aware of that. I will investigate, and I'll find out the cause of death of this person. You say they were murdered. We'll find out. Murder is a police case. It means that somebody actually committed the murder and they need to be arrested. Investigations were done. Is it murder? Where were they murdered? Where were they at the time of murdering? Were they still working and all that? So I will find out. But it's also good to designate roles here, Mr. Speaker. I'm the Minister for Labor. I deal with Kenyans when they're here before they go overseas, and I monitor how they're doing. But the work of repatriating Kenyans when they're overseas is the State Department of Diaspora under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And that's where the embassies come in. So we work as a team to collaborate. So some of these issues you're asking about, the ambassadors would rather be asked to the minister in charge of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Senator Osotsi, you know you cannot pose a point of order against the CS. Proceed, Honorable CS.
Senator Wakili Sigei, thank you for that, pointing out about that error in spelling, and we will correct it. And we have posted labor attaches to Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, to Geneva in Switzerland, to Doha in Qatar, to Dubai in the UAE, and to Berlin in Germany. Those are the main sources where we are getting more demands for jobs. And I'm changing the labor attaches, and we are posting new ones within the next 2 to 3 months, but to require a budget of about 300 million for us to be, for for us to be able to send them. And so we hope that if we had more money, we'd have more labor attaches in many countries that we'll be able to. But the consular services in those countries, we work with them, and so the teams on the ground with their embassies are able to undertake that work. Mheshimiwa Mazoya, umeuliza kuhusu dada yetu Maureen Yajua ambaye ni mgonjwa. Ningependa kufafanua, namwambia augue pole. Yajua anaitwa Maureen Najua ambaye anaumwa, namwambia augue pole, namtakia mema. Ningependa kujibu hivi. Lazima tufahamu mimi.
Senator Mazayo, what is your issue?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Stuart Mazayo.
Honorable
Mazayo.
CS,
And
the senator for Kilifi is Stewart Mazayo, not otherwise.
And the lady I've spoken about, she's called Maureen Nyazua Ya.
Thank you, Senator Mazayo. I think I said Senator Mazayo. And then I said the lady is called Maureen Najua. That's why I made a mistake, Yajua. But I think Mazayo, I know you for many years. Everybody knows you. So sorry if I misspelled your name, but I think I pronounced your name properly, if I try to recall. So I think they mixed up because I said both names following each other. About Maureen Najua, ambao ulisema ameugua katika nchi nyingine. Mheshimiwa Speaker, ile maktaba, the agreement that we have, na mtu yoyote anapoenda ng'ambo, hizi nchi zinampa full medical care. Kama Saudi, uko na full medical care. Ukiugua, tumeona Wakenya wameugua sana huko, wamepelekwa hata the Royal Hospital, wanatibiwa ICU mpaka wanapona. It's fully covered. Na unatibiwa, unapona. Na katika pia kandarasi wanajaza, iko na return ticket. Sio lazima arudishwe na yule ambaye alimpeleka. Kuna return ticket as part of the agreement. Ya maana ukimaliza kazi ikiisha, au kukosa kazi, maybe umeugua, una return ticket imepeanwa na yule amekuajiri uweze kurejea nyumbani. Lakini ikiwa bado unamfanyia huyo kazi, sijui vile Maureen hali yake nitachunguza, lakini kwa ujumla simtaji, anasema kwa ujumla unakuta ya kwamba umepewa kazi na mtu fulani umfanyie kazi, wewe unatoroka hiyo kazi, unaenda kufanya mambo mengine.
Honorable CS, just go straight to Senator Mazayo's question, and if you're not aware of the circumstances of Maureen Nyazua, you may plead to bring up more comprehensive response, because that is the general principles under which a minister operates. But in regards to Maureen, if you're not aware of the details, you may seek time so that you give us more detailed and comprehensive response regarding this particular girl that Honorable Senator has talked about.
Well guided, Mr. Speaker. I will find out about
more comprehensive response, because that is the general principles under which a minister operates. But in regards to Maureen, if you're not aware of the details, you may seek time so that you give us more detailed and comprehensive response regarding this particular girl that Honorable Senator has talked about.
And about Mr. Mohammed, and just to clarify that if she was still working for the same employer, then she should be getting medical care, and we'll investigate why that is not so, and I'll be able to give a comprehensive answer to this House. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Now we have a second question directed to the same ministry by the Honorable Senator James Murango. Yes.
I'm standing in for him.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm standing in for Senator James Murango of Kirinyaga County, And these are the questions that he has for the CS Labor and Social Protection. One, what has led to the increase in the number of street children in major towns across Kirinyaga County, including Gurufani, Kutus, Kagio, Sagana, and Kiruguya? B, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on government programs for the rescue and rehabilitation of street children in Kirinyaga County and provide a status update on efforts to reintegrate these children with their families? And C, Mr. Speaker, what is the government doing to support street families to access formal education, obtain national identity cards, and secure job opportunities within and outside the country? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thanks for this question from Senator James Murango. The increase in number of street families in major towns across Kirinyaga County and several other counties has been attributed to several factors. One of them is the influx of destitute children and families from neighboring countries attracted by engagement by the business community, especially those in rice business. In other words, what I'm saying is that some of these people are not Kenyans who are in those areas. They come and they undertake menial jobs like pulling carts and carrying other market wares from one place to the other for some meager pay. Others are Kenyans that have been attracted to those areas, not necessarily just from the street. The second question, Mr. Speaker, sir, on programs for rescue and rehabilitation. Street Families Rehabilitation Trust Fund developed a national policy on rehabilitation of street families. The policy provides guidelines on implementation of programs which include prevention of more persons going to the streets, rescue, rehabilitation, reintegration, and resocialization. This will ensure that the programs are effectively implemented in all urban areas, including Kirinyaga County. The Trust Fund is establishing Street Families Rehabilitation County chapters, which are structures that coordinate rehabilitation of street families at the county and other lower levels. Kirinyaga County level is scheduled to be operationalized in the current financial year. In the third week, Mr. Speaker, of February 2025, the Trust's implementing partners operating in Kirinyaga and Murang'a counties in conjunction with the Director of Children's Services in Muya Sub-County rescued a total of 14 boys working on the streets of Ngurubaini who have now been placed in rehabilitation center in Murang'a for further assessment and relevant placement. The business community is normally involved in such rescue missions as a way of sensitizing them on the plight of street families. Upon rehabilitation, the beneficiaries are integrated back to society after provision of economic empowerment strategies to ensure they sustainably settle within their community. They also link to relevant services and integration. And I've listed there some of the things that we are doing for Kirinyaga County. The last question, Mr. Speaker, is what is the government doing to support street families to access formal education and obtain IDs and secure jobs outside the country? The government, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, has developed the following strategies to assist and to ensure welfare of street families is taken care of. One is a rescue aspect, process of identifying, assessing, and helping persons out of street situations for eventual rehabilitation, reintegration, and resocialization for better living. Two is rehabilitation. This is where you able to restore their human dignity, privileges, so that they also understand, and through counseling, how they can actually fit back into society. Upon rescue, beneficiaries undergo an assessment to determine suitable placement within the education system so that kids can go back to school. The ones who are over 18 are also given their ID cards, and internship opportunities are provided on those ones, for those ones who have been able to be trained. Any person with a skill, because the idea is if you're a street child, you're over 18, and you've gone through training, skill development in a TVET, or we take you through rehabilitation, you are open to compete for any overseas job that is there. And we'll try as much as possible to ensure that street children get a livelihood by having a program whereby they are considered first in terms of overseas jobs. By linking rehabilitated beneficiaries to potential workers, we are trying to ensure that they also have a way of being able to continue. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is to say that we, as the ministry, we continue to lobby Parliament particularly through the social protection committees, to allocate sufficient funds to enable the ministry to implement vital and effective programs aimed at securing the welfare of street children. And to finalize and say, Mr. Speaker, I've had meetings with my people, and we are reworking the rehabilitation and identification of street families. Some of the street families we are seeing in our country are foreigners from foreign nations that have come to Kenya, because Kenya is an economic giant in the region. And so we are working on that so that we can be able to get them sent back home to their countries, and also get the ones that are here taken back to the countryside where they come from, and also taken to school as part of the rehabilitation. I submit, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Honorable Mutua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've listened to the response by the CS, but may want a little more information, especially on question number 1. Because, Mr. Speaker, the CS has submitted that the increase in the number of street families in Kirinyaga County, and indeed in the whole country, is because of most of them are foreigners. Could the CS provide us the details? I mean, profile the locals against foreigners, so that we can know how many street families are locals and how many are foreigners. And Mr. Speaker, because every foreigner that comes to this country, of course, is not supposed to be here illegally. What is the responsibility of the ministry on street families from foreigners? Because, of course, these foreigners are here legally. So what is the responsibility of the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, especially under social protection? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Majority are Kenyans, some are foreigners. It's not majority are foreigners. Some are foreigners, and we are taking a census. We're just waiting for budgetary allocation so that we can have a breakdown not only of which are foreigners or Kenyans, but also where they come from in Kenya, and also identify what is the main cause, what made them come to the street. Because we want to find out, is it a family breakdown, is it poverty, is it they being used as child labor, especially the children, to come to the street. So we are undertaking that census